New Year, okay?
Happy New Year, Wolo. Happy New Year.
Happy New
It's
Year.
amazing. Yes, so
Okay, so we are live now, but I've not seen anybody on this live. Where is everybody? Where is everybody? Okay, I've seen one person. Where is everybody? Happy New Year, my people. Where are you guys? So even
they're on
all
their
the
way.
comments I left on my like the video that I did inviting you guys for my live session today, first YouTube live, I'm seeing only one person. What's going on?
They're on
No,
their way.
now
They're
where is
coming.
everybody? Let's say that maybe everybody. Okay,
It's a Saturday.
forgot. We are early. I forgot we are early. We are 2 minutes early.
Yes, sure. But it's good to be
Oh,
early, though.
jeez, I forgot. We are 2 minutes early.
Mhm.
So let's just use the opportunity to wait for people. Okay, so I don't know what they are saying. Oh, okay, yes. So um Aromo Oluwabanke, thank you for joining. I really appreciate you. So we have 6 people now on the live. I thank you so much for
Amazing.
joining. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for taking time out of your afternoon. I know Saturdays is difficult. Like a lot of things, people plan a lot of things on Saturdays just to, catch up for the next week. So I really appreciate you for taking your time to join us and every other person that will join us on this live. We are still like we are early. I know we are early. So happy new year. I've not said happy new year to my people. So happy new year to all my beautiful people.
Mhm.
All my day ones, everybody that has been following me, happy new year, happy new year, happy new year to all of you. I really appreciate all of you and thank you for joining. Sorry, let me position some. I'm trying to position some things properly. Okay. I have this I have this what do you call it now? This
Sure.
thick to wrap myself when it gets cold here because I'm in my basement. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining. If you're in Nigeria, hello. I was in Nigeria and I will do another video to talk about my experience, not for this one. And I want to say thank you to my guests. I won't call her my guest because she's my sister from way back, Eruke, my twin sister. I'll call her my twin sister from a different mother. We were born on the same August 10, the same day. So she's my twin sister.
Well, please.
And I won't lie to you, Erika has been like I look up to her for so many things. She doesn't know, but I look up to her for so many things. Like, can you see the books behind her? I was
Yeah.
just telling her that she should go and become a professor. I don't know what she's with. Erika reads and reads and reads. Me, the book that I collected from the library, how many months ago, I finished reading them. And I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, oh, yes. So, wow, August 6th. Oh, we are plenty August people, oh, my fellow August people. Thank you, thank you,
Augustus.
thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for joining. Okay. So it's already 1 minute past the time. I was introducing Iruke and I'm saying that she's my twin sister. We share the same birthday. We've known each other for more than, I don't know how many years,
Three decades.
more than 20 years. Yeah, we've
Mhm.
known each other for more than 20 years, thereabouts. And yeah, and every day we discuss, we like Eruka is just 5 minutes call away. We're always talking. And she inspires me in a lot of ways, especially with parenting, because this is a niche. Parenting is a niche. She has children, teenage children, and she has passed all through I won't say passed, well, she has passed through the stage of raising children up to the age of teenage level to the point where one of her first child will soon be going to the post-secondary education level. So she is in a better position to talk about parenting and visioning and goal setting. Like I'm not just bringing somebody who me, I still have a 4 years old. We are still we are still dragging ourselves. Every day I ask myself, God, which day will this child grow up to start washing plates? And funny enough, today I dragged her, let us go and wash plates. So she tried the washing plate, So that's my goal. My goal is for my 4 years old daughter to start washing plates this year. Please don't say it's
Wow.
child abuse. I'm teaching her, I'm trying to inculcate some good habits into her so that she's not just spending her time watching cartoons and all of that. So Erica is since they said welcome after your August free 31 days life. But I did a session in December. I did a one session in December 28th before closing the year. So yeah, I'm back, but I'm still trying to get back into the groove of coming back to YouTube. I'm sorry. Again, I have to apologize because there's a lot on my plate and I'm trying to clear them off. But back to what I was saying, I said Eruke is she is the expert, right? She has children that has grown beyond all these stages and she has prepared them so well. So it's good for us to have that conversation of parenting, visioning, goal setting for immigrants, right? A lot of us are in different phases of our lives. Some people have children that are at the teenage level, some have children at the university level, some have small children like me. I didn't start early, so I just have one. So Erica is the expert here in this topic. That's why I brought her. And for those who are interested in knowing how to position your children, right, in so many ways, apart from what Erica is going to talk about, in terms of, again, there was a viral video from a content creator that she was advising parents to send their children to Nigeria if they cannot afford post-secondary education in Canada. Those who must have gotten, because she used the word mortgage. So she said, if you've gotten mortgage and you feel that the load from the mortgage is too much for you, that's the expenses from the mortgage is too much for you,
Mhm.
then send your children to go and study at the university level in Nigeria. That's what she said. And I felt that she didn't have enough information or enough resources of actually what is available on ground for people, for them to be able to send their children to school in Canada without even paying a dime. There are options where people go to school without paying a dime. And I'm going to talk about that as well so that everybody can benefit on how they
Okay.
can position their children in that regard. Okay, so I'll leave the floor for Eruke, and first of all, I'll ask her questions around goal setting. Let's start with goal setting for children. Like I said, I have a 4-year-old, and I felt today, when we woke up today, the first thing she said was she wants to go and watch TV. And I said, no, how can you, a 4-year-old, just wake up and tell me you're going to watch TV? It doesn't make sense. Let's look for work. And then I just Googled, I saw one work. So let's clean, let's arrange. And we did all of that. And then we went to the kitchen, ate breakfast, and said, okay, it's time to wash plates. And we did that. And I felt very happy that I was able to um, allow my 4 years
Mhm.
old to
Okay.
start doing certain house chores, like giving her certain responsibilities around the home. So, Erica, when you say goal setting for children, like what do you mean by that?
Okay, Wolo. Hi everyone. Good morning. It's still morning where I am. I know it's late for some people. For me, it's morning. What does goal setting mean in parenting? So I'll start with the parents and I'll kind of cascade it down to the children. Goal setting simply means setting goals or putting things in place that allows you to insert or put values into your children. That's what I see as parenting, goal setting and visioning for parents. So, parents, basically, what you're doing in essence is building up your children, putting values in them that will make that they would use as they grow older. For instance, a mother's goals will be, oh, I want my child to be the best in class. What about from home? Charity begins at home, not outside. For that child to be, for instance, I'm just using that as an instance, be the best at school. What do you need to start doing at home? The child should have like a schedule, not like a cast on iron kind of schedule, but a schedule that instills your family values. Number one for parents' question is, what are your values? What is your mission? What's your mission statement for your family? So whatever goal that you are setting, whatever vision that you have, should center around your home or your personal value system. That's what you will transfer to your children, and that will be the leap board for your goal setting. It is not cast on stone for everyone. Every family is different. I'll use Wolo for instance. She has a 4-year-old child. What is a value system? What does she want to start instilling in this child as the child is young so that this child can grow up with it? So parents will say, oh, my child can sleep anytime. Are you disciplining your child? Whatever the child starts at a very young age, it will definitely grow up. It will definitely kind of groom that child for the future. So if my child is sleeping early at 8 p.m., what does she do from her waking time to sleeping time. All of those things should be centered around your personal values. If you want your child to learn how to pick up things, for instance, you can pick up. I remember my children pick up after themselves from age 1. We will sing Bunny and pick up your things. Pieces of paper, lying on the ground, lying on the ground. I don't want to see them, I don't want to see them, pick them up. You start dancing with the child. Children are playing in the sitting room, for instance, or wherever, or their playroom, and they have their toys all scattered. Don't pick after them. Don't be the one to pick it up. Teach them discipline from that young age. You will sing with them. Just that teaching them those values are different. You might need to do a lot of dancing, a lot of singing. Why? That
Mm,
is what they remember. But as your child begins to grow older, they first of all they've already learned that from year 1, year 2, that I pick after myself. So I'm putting these litters around. I am going to pick each and every one of them and keep them back where they need to be. What are you doing to this child? You are telling this child that organization is important. But you're not teaching
mm,
organization to a 10-year-old or a 16 or an 18-year-old, but a 1-year-old. And the child, the only way they understand organization is show them, you pick it back, you drop it here. This is where you took it from. This is where it has to go back to. So at the beginning, at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, you can tell them, oh, it's time for the toys to wake up. They understand that. Why? Because they just woke up. And now you want to play with your toys. Let's wake them up. Let's bring them up from the basket. At the end of the day, it's time for the toys to go back to sleep. What do? You put them to bed. I put them back into whatever you brought them out from. That's how you start your goal setting. So that's what it is. In line with your personal visions and mission. That's how you set your goals for your family. For immigrants, it is different. It is interesting, but I'll pass it back to Wolo.
no, because I'm gonna ask you questions. When you say for immigrants, it is different and it is interesting. What? Because I mean, yes, I came in and it took a while before I had my baby. My own story. I should give. I would say it's a testimony. I would just say probably a testimony because God did perform this miracle, but the testimony is not for this session. So when you say for immigrants now, what is what how why would you say the story is actually different? Because I know some people immigrated when their children were maybe at a certain age bracket, let's say 9 years, 10 years, some immigrated at the age of 15, 16, some immigrated at the age of the onset of puberty. And I know that at the onset of puberty, when a child immigrates, there's a tendency for that child to get lost with the crowds they find in Canada, or there's a tendency for that child to get withdrawn into their shell. Maybe they don't fully fit in, especially when they come into an environment that everything is different, don't fully fit in, right? I've seen situations like that where some children, when they come, they know that, oh, they have rights in this place, they can do anyhow, they can just decide to do anyhow and then put the parents in trouble. That is when they start exercising their rights. So when an immigrant comes, let's use that age bracket as an example, at the teenage age where there is a high level of peer pressure and impressions, like wrong impressions going on, how can a parent set goals for their children such that they don't get lost, they don't get derailed? Because at that point in time, immigrating at that age, the parent is not, sometimes get lost with taking care of the children, right? At that point, the parents are trying to see how they can settle in, how they can get jobs, how, like, a lot of things are going on. For those that come with limited resources, limited financial resources, their brain is calculating 247. How can they get a job? And sometimes they get a job that will take them out of the house. Most of the time, they are not at home to monitor what the children are doing. At that point, a lot of things just go wrong at that point of immigration, or at that point of coming in to settle down. So what kind of goal do you think such a parent that falls into this category should set for themselves and for their children as well, so that the children don't get lost? Because why I'm saying this is because I watched a video of a child that immigrated around this age bracket, around 13, 14, and she made a lot of statements concerning her parents, that they were abusive, they were this, they were that. And after a while, she finished university, and at the age of 25, 26, she decided to do no contact with the parents.
Oh,
The parents were like, you should be grateful we brought you to Canada, but now she's saying no contact. She doesn't want to have anything to do with the parents. She doesn't want to have anything to do with the father and mother. She was just going on TikTok and talking about it. So I felt somehow that I believe the parents must have made the decision of immigrating because of the children. And now the same children that they immigrated for is now say they are now saying they don't want to have anything to do with the parents. So what kind
Mhm.
of goals do you think such a parent should set for their children, especially with new immigrants? Let me start from there. As in new immigrants that just came in. Let's just start from there.
I guess one of the things I want to talk about parents and immigration is, first of all, at the point of immigrating or migrating, what values have you instilled into your children? First of all, that value foundation is very important. He said, if the foundation be destroyed, what can the righteous do? There
Righteous do.
must be
Yeah.
that foundation first. What values have you instilled into your children? If you train up your child in the way they would go, no matter how they deviate, they will come back to that line. They will leave that trajectory, but they will come back because they have a foundation. Migrating from the country where we are to wherever your country is to a different country is a different ballgame. Before you leave, you must have sat down to begin to ask yourself, how prepared are my children to meet this culture shock? I'll use myself as an example. I wasn't even prepared enough. I didn't even, my thought was, oh, that excitement of, yeah, I'm traveling. You are so excited and you forget some things. What were the
Mm,
things that you need to sit down first of all to calculate? If you want to build a house, you first of all sit down and count the cost. What will it cost me from this level to this level? You have an idea. You might not have all the monies, all the knowledge, all the experience, but at least you have the starter. So you go back to the foundation, go to the drawing board. I have children ages 12 to 13, or this is this age, and we know how that age can be. So, what do you need to do? How well do I know my child? You need to start from there. How well do I know my child? Do I have this one on one with this child? Can my child talk to me? Am I talking to my child? Am I talking with my child? Am I speaking for my child? Does my child listen to me? Is there a trusted adult that this child listens to that can lean towards if we need to have any kind of conversation? That has to be in place, one. Then, secondly, what we need to understand is, who is my child? Is my child quite impressionable? Is this child someone that will lean towards the crowd? How is my child? How well do I know my child enough to say, in the midst of the crowd, what would they do? Number three, as parents, as we begin to migrate, there will be pressure. There's a
mm,
lot of pressure. One of the pressure is job pressure. Some people are lucky, they get jobs straight from wherever they're coming from, and that are taking care of your bills. The bills are not smiling. Your
mm,
telephone, your bills, you're paying telephone bills, you're paying light bills, you're paying gas bills, you're paying for transportation. There's a lot of things that need to be put into consideration that people don't tell you when you're migrating. The food might not be so much of a problem, but accommodation is a big deal. So that when you come, you don't get kind of saddled with all of this responsibility and you neglect your children. So one of the issues that parents get is they are overwhelmed themselves. When you're overwhelmed, you've not helped yourself. Can you help somebody else? Your
mm,
child is coming to you to tell you that this is how my day went, and you're telling them, please, I'm coming. I need to go back to this shift. I need to go that. We need to sit down first and count the cost. What are you willing to give up for so that
mm,
everything will be in place? That is the bottom line of the whole decision that they need to take. Your children, what is important to you? Your children, your work, your sanity, their sanity, your relationship with them. What is important in all of these things together? If you're able to tie those pieces together, centered around your values, centered around your mission statement as a family, you will make progress. And
mm.
something else again, our children are under a lot of pressure. The pressure is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Imagine, let me give you a simple scenario why children get so impressionable and why they buckle under peer pressure as immigrants. The reason is, you are coming from a different country, you're coming at age 12, age 13. If you were still in your home country, guess what? You most likely will go to the same school. There are friends that you went to school with from pre-K, that's nursery school, or kindergarten, they are still with you. Some of them would have moved away, but majority of them will still be around the locality, except you moved places and you can also see them. Now that child leaves the country. and moves to a different country, and you're going to meet friends who have been together for years. You can't break into that circle. So what happens to your child? Your child becomes lonely. So anybody who throws a bait to them as regards, oh, do you want to be my friend? Guess what your child will do? You will lean towards that person because we are we are like humans congregate. We are
Mm,
communal people. You would lean towards whoever that person is. Because here, using Canada for an example, the bubble is very strong. You can't break into that circle. Even as an adult, you can't break into these called bubbles. You can't break into those bubbles or circles or groups. So what do you need to do? You need to learn to compromise a bit. And how much compromise are you willing to give to get into that circle? What if the circle that seems to be like the cool guys don't want you? Because there are certain things you have to do to fit in. So what do? You come back to your parents and you tell them how much struggle you're having, and your mother cannot relate. Your parents cannot relate. Come on, go and make friends in school. I don't know your mates there. That is not how it works. And again, remember the parents are overwhelmed. So where's the balance? Before you come at all, you need to have conversations with your children. You might have friends or people who might not want to be friends with you. In that instance, what do? That is where you have books like Emotional Intelligence, Dale Carnegie's How to Win and Influence People in a Digital Age. You will need to start to train your children, train their mindset, and teach them how to make friends in that bubbles where people are very unfriendly. When I first came, Wolo, I wanted to go to my neighbors to knock on their door. And everybody looked at me like, are you okay? Is everything okay with you? In my mind, that is where I come from. I know everybody who lives around me. I've lived in an area for like
mm,
almost 2 years. I didn't even know my next door neighbor because they see you in the morning. I said, ah, good morning. And somebody's looking at you like, and walks away. Your child goes to school and have that kind of things. The child becomes withdrawn. The child becomes, sullen, fallen. Loneliness is
mm.
coming, and someone approaches you and say, would you like to vape? And you're like, no, I don't do that. Like, okay, you can be alone if you like, and walks away. And that one person continually comes to meet you and begin to tell you things. Oh, how is school? How are you today? And you know that is not the person you ordinarily will lean towards, but that's the only person who is being friendly to you. Guess what?
Yeah.
Humans want companion. You will lean towards that person. But that's where the parents begin to come in. You need to learn how to begin to look at facial expressions for your children. Oh, is your child becoming solemn? Is your child becoming rude or sullen or withdrawn? How do you begin to take care of all these things? It's a lot for us to pack in one conversation, but you need to have those goals around those kind of conversations with your child. You need to sit down and count the cost. I had a friend who said, hey, okay, my children are still young. I don't want to bring them. I would wait. I don't have the kind of support that I have in Nigeria. I don't want to bring them here. I don't want to get lost in this crowd. Remember, like I said, the parents are struggling, the children are struggling. Where do you meet in that circle? That's where you need to go to the drawing board. At first, we should have sat down and count the cost of your movement and what it
Mm.
will cost you and the family before you make that move.
Okay, so can you give a list of, let's say, a list of goals that families should set, depending on the age bracket of their children? Let me say from 0 to 5, and then you have from 5 to 12. That's 12 is like, yeah,
Preaching,
and
yes.
then from 12 to 18. So do you have a list of goals that parents should set for their children, immigrant parents should set for their children? Let's say from 0 to 5. Parents should set goals for, I don't know.
Yes,
It's
I
not coming
understand
to my
what
head
you're
right now.
saying.
Parents
Yes.
should set goals for financial goals for their children. Let's say from certain age, yeah, from a certain age bracket to a certain age bracket, parents should set goals for this, and then start preparing their children kind of. So if you have list of goals that you can suggest that parents should start setting for their children, at least that will help.
There are certain goals that we can actually set depending on how old your child is, from even from age 0 down to 20, because when they get like 21 they can literally take care of themselves because you've already instilled
From
goals and
age
values.
18, they are
Yeah,
technically they are already adults,
yeah. So
depending on
I'm
age of
just
minority or age of majority. It differs in provinces. So let me mention this. Age of majority in BC could be
uh
different from the age of
it's
majority in
19.
Alberta. Yeah, so
Alberta
age
is
of
more
majority in
extreme.
BC could be 18, age of majority in Alberta could be 18, age of majority in Manitoba could be 17 years,
Mm.
right? So within the age of majority for all these provinces, they are not the same. And they count them as from that age, they start counting them as adults. So yeah. So what kind of goals do you think parents should start setting? Like I mentioned, I broke it down 0 to 5, 5 to 12,
Mhm.
12 to 18. Let's not look at 20 and above. Those ones are adults. They
Yes, they
can be
can take care of
parents.
themselves. Yes, I can do that. But before we do that, do we have any comments? Is anybody making comments I will need to answer to? So are there any
Please,
comments
please.
that we can?
Yes, there's one comment. Yeah, says so true. Relocation exposes gaps very quickly. The earlier children are prepared, the easier the transition becomes. Thank you so much, Arinze. Thank you so much for that comment. Yeah, so that's a comment that aligns with what we are doing. Yeah.
Okay, that's for sure. So
Okay.
what a goal setting, for instance. So now from ages 0 to 5, one of the major goals I'll tell parents is instilling your values into their children, letting the child know the good from bad. Because at
Okay.
that age, they are still quite impressionable, and your children would just be dogging your footstep. I remember my daughter would, at age 1, she'll go and wear my shoes. She will wear my clothes. She will go to my makeup table. She'll find a way to climb, and you see her putting. I wish I had a picture I could share with us. That child will copy what you do. At that ages 0 to 5, what we should be aiming at is organization for your children and patterns. Your goal is to create patterns for your children, because from ages 5 and 6, the child needs to go to kindergarten and they need to wake up and go to school. You already know that at age 6, they'll need to start going to school. So, what do you need to do? Create patterns for your children. Create pattern at that age. So the child knows that when I do this, I get to do this and I get to do that. And also, as you're creating patterns for them, let it be very simple patterns. You have a lot of musical, a lot of singing, a lot of visuals given to these children at that age, because that is what they need to do. You can have something as simple as in the morning, what you need your child to do in the morning. Create that ritual for them. Wake up in the morning, kneel down and pray and thank God. Whatever your belief is or whatever your system is, again, centered around your family values, then
Hmm.
show the child that when you wake up, this is the next thing. You can have this pictorial representation of what that feels like. I'm washing my teeth before I eat, or I'm eating, I'm washing my teeth. Then we'll go to this, then we'll go to that. You show your child that organization and structure. So that's
You
zero,
just,
zero
you
to
just, you
five.
just, you
It's
just made.
structure.
I'm taking note of this one I just said. Now create pictorial, whatever. I don't have that pictorial thing, so
You
maybe
need
I'll do
to
it
have it. So your child
for my
knows.
4 year
That's
old.
why
She already
you
knows
had,
by head what to do, but I think that pictorial thing will put her in
yes.
the mood.
So that
Yeah.
picture helped the child. I used to like Winnie the Pooh. First you wake and brush your teeth, then what next? Then dun, 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 dun. There's that song. And the child knows what next, next and all of that. From ages 6 to like ages 10, the pre-K age is 0 to 5. Then from that time is just the kindergarten age or the elementary age. You need to now give your child more defined structures and give them chores to do. At 0 to 5, they're cleaning up after themselves, they're doing all of that. From ages 6 to 10, you're giving them more defined structures. Oh, what you need to do, lay your bed when you wake up. How do you lay your bed? As you stand up, this is what you need to do. And if you are taking your bath, keep your towel in this position, because they can now reach to certain level or they can climb. Make sure you're hanging it. And when you take books from the shelf, you need to do this. You need to start taking them. If you are someone like likes reading like me, start taking them with you to the library. You can do that from ages 2 to 3 to 5, but 6 to 10, you are building that culture in them. You are teaching them manners. You are teaching them body parts. You are teaching them how to be, how to have courtesy. At that age, they should be well established. When you see someone with good morning, when you see someone say hello, bye, and you're teaching them manners. You must teach them manners at that age. You can teach, there's so much you can teach from 0 to 5, but from 6 to 10, you must begin to teach well defined manners that will teach them how to be great adults and teenagers. Then, when they go to the pre-teen age, you have to start teach them about relationships. How do I keep relationship? How do I form relationship? How do I look out for myself? How do I need to name my emotions? One of the important things I want to say to parents is teach your child how to name their emotions. From ages 2 to 5, you can use smiley faces and teach them this is what happy means when I feel sad, when I feel not good,
My
and
my
all of that.
daughter verbalizes her, oh no, if she's sad, she'll
Yes,
just gats that I'm sad.
yes. So you need to teach them how
I was
to
like,
name.
why are you sad? What's making you sad? You're a small child. What do you know?
But it's important that she's naming her emotions.
Yeah.
Name that emotions, because that is how you can identify what the child is doing. So if your child tells you at age 4, I am sad, a 4-year old is not well necessarily sad. She could feel, maybe she's feeling uncomfortable. You now begin to
Mm.
teach them to name the emotions appropriately. Why? That is going to help you transit with them as teenagers. Then for age, that teen age, teach them about boundaries. We've been teaching boundaries though, but now your boundaries need to be defined, really defining your boundaries. There's so much you can teach a teenagers, because at that point they're already not so impressionable from the parent end. So at that point, your goal should be teaching them boundaries. How do I set healthy boundaries in terms of
Mm.
their health, in terms of whatever they need to do at that time, school, boundaries, friends, and everything. Teach them boundaries and teach them how to do goal setting. I actually have a goal setting class for children where they write down goals at different ages in pictures and they put it on their walls and they see it regularly. They also have road mind mapping things that would help them become the persons that they should be in future. So those are different goals for different age that we can teach our children and put it before them so that they can actually become the persons that we want them to be. The more we teach our children goal setting, having a vision of where they want to go, and put that picture before them, they'll become the persons that they should actually be.
Okay. So, which brings me to the next question I'm going to ask. Financial goals. We have parents that are already saving money for their children's tuition. We
Hmm.
have parents, coming from Nigeria, the mindset is your parents will be the one to train you from primary, nursery, primary, secondary, university. We have some people who also, set themselves up, especially those who do not come from a good background. They had to hustle their way to school and all of that. They set themselves up. Now, the mindset brought over here is still the same. We have parents who want to like set children, those who are buoyant can set their
Yeah.
children up by saving money to send their children to post-secondary education.
Oh.
But there are still a category of people that are not able to raise the funds to be able to send their children for post-secondary education. So in this case, when you say, because in line with the topic of goal setting, when should a parent, especially an immigrant parent that has come into Canada,
Hmm.
start keeping money for their children to go to post-secondary education? I know we have loans, we have grants, which I'm going to talk about. We also have the RESP. For those who don't know, RESP is Registered Education Savings Plan. And if you're in Canada, you take advantage of that. The government will give you additional 20% for every amount you save. Well, there's is a whole topic on its own.
Oh,
So we
yes.
have the RESP. And for temporary residents, when they come into Canada, if you spend 18 months, your child start getting government benefits from the government, which you can start saving. But the challenge about the government benefit is that the more money you earn, the more your income increases, the
Yes, the
lower the
less,
benefit you get
yes.
from the government. So
Or
if
you
you
don't
start
even
earning
get it all.
above 200,000 family income, that means your children will not get any benefit from the government for you to save. But if you're below the normal income, let's say you're on a minimum wage, or you get the benefit from there, and then from there you start saving. So let's talk about financial goals for children. That's I feel that we've talked about behavioral goals, right?
Mhm.
Behavioral goals for children. Let's talk about financial goals for children. At what point should parents start saving money? At what point should parents encourage their children to start working? I am pro working. When I came, I'll mention this. When I came in to Canada, the first year, one of my friends dragged me to an investment. She's an investment lady. She works with IG Wealth. Is it IG Wealth in Winnipeg there? And she was, trying to educate me on um, um, investment vehicles, how to start investing and all of that and all of that, all of that. And then when she mentioned saving money for your children's education, I'm like, I'm in Canada. They can fend for themselves.
Exactly.
My mind was the as long as I've come to hustle for myself, any child I have will
We
hustle
hustle for them first.
will hustle for their own education. And why did I get that thought? Because I observed the Caucasians, I observed the real Canadians, and I noticed that the real Canadians, they start working from a very young age. The real Canadians start work. That is why they have years and years of work experience.
Experience,
Whereas
yeah.
those of us from Nigeria, we are all about book, 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 book. Go to school, read your book, pass, pass, pass. The real Canadians, they don't really bother themselves about they yes, they do. There are the educated ones do. They want their children to go to school, get the basic education, get to high school. But from age 13, like from age 13, you're already seeing a mother hustling for um childcare jobs for their
Mm-hmm.
daughters. Like from age 12, you see a Canadian mother. She's on Facebook communities, Facebook pages, hustling for childcare jobs for her child. From age 12, from age 13, you see them. And how did I get to know these things? Because I was looking for childcare and I saw this, they were doing this. And as at 2017, when I came, I saw that most of the people I was working with, I was well educated more than them. I had my master's and all of that. But these people, they didn't have a bachelor's degree and they were my supervisors.
Grade 12 even.
And I started having, I'm like, if I come into a land, I should start thinking like the people that own this land and see how things are. So I want you to contribute on this. What kind of financial goals should parents start setting? Yes, are we doing financial goals, just financial goals, or do we have to combine both financial goals and work goals? As in start preparing our children to start joining the workforce from an early age, or do you think that the age is too early for them to start working? So I want you to talk more about this.
So around this job thing, if for we're talking about finance as immigrants, as parents, what are the goals that you need to set for yourself and also for your children? I would say that's a very personal choice. It depends on
Mm,
you and where you're coming from. Some people are of the view that, oh, my child, because I'm coming from Nigeria, I'm using Nigeria because that's where I'm from. They would say, oh, this is what we know. Based on what you know and your experience and the people you meet, you will definitely follow a particular pattern. Some would say, no, this is what I know. I don't want my child to get spoiled. That's the thought. One mindset, which I don't want my child to get, but if they begin to handle money, they will not know what to do with the money. What I want them to do is to go to school and they follow that pattern. I'll give an example. I have a friend who brought the kids here, and of course, they started working, doing newspaper delivery and all of that. They came here at age 16. They got into jobs, McDonald's, Tim Hortons, Starbucks. They started working, and they were earning almost the same thing as their parents because as the more you work, it's the same amount they will pay you as long as you're at the basic level. And they started growing. These children started going to school, and they realized that why am I going to school?
four.
What exactly is the reason for going to school? They realized that the supervisors at McDonald's were grade 12. They all stopped at grade 12. And some of them have grown to manager level. These boys, this family, I'm not joking, the two boys stopped going to school at 200 level and said it was a waste of time, money, and energy. Why
Mm,
do I need to go to school when I'm already working? Of course,
mm,
when they were done with school, they had that 1 year wait, and they made so much money. At the end of that year, they made more than 20 grand savings and everything. And they're like, oh, you know what? Let's start a business. And they started a business together. And they dropped out of school and said, you know what? Mba, no more school. It's a waste of my time. So if I'm a student, I can only work about 20 hours or 24 hours the whole week. Meanwhile, if I wasn't working as a student, I can actually just work Monday through Friday, pick shift here and there, and have different jobs I'm doing. And that was their mindset. Some parents have heard these things and say, you know what? Nah, 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 nah. My child is not going to work at all. They will go to
mm,
school. Give me my degree first. Then afterwards,
mm,
they can decide whatever they want to do. Then those parents will start saving. And guess what? It puts a lot of burdens. Most Nigerian parents, what they do is they see their children through school, like from the beginning to the end. So they are saving a
Mhm.
big chunk of their money. For those who say, no, my child has to go to school, don't even bother working. You're not doing anything. Yours is to go to school. It is important to me. Again, it boils down to the family values. Certification is important to me. You must get this degree first. When they will now coming back home and say, oh, my child is a dropout in grade 12, it will not work. My enemies will not laugh at me. That child will go to school. While there's a different mindset that says, you know what, from age 12, start doing your newspaper and start saving your money.
Mm.
If you need to start collecting bottles, collecting cans from door to door, go ahead and start doing those things now. The parents would encourage the children. At the same time, they're doing their RSP, they're having their down education payments, and some parents would actually begin to study around scholarship opportunities. What
Mm.
opportunity does is available to my child in my community, and they begin to develop it. Because trust me, there's so many scholarship opportunities available, and others will just begin to prepare at that age. Whatever work hours, volunteering hours the child needs, they'll start banking it down. That is their
Yeah.
own investment.
Yeah.
They'll start banking volunteering hours, they'll start banking things that the child requires to get scholarship. All of the requirements, the parents will begin to tick all the boxes depending on the school they want to go. So in setting financial goals for education for our children actually boils down to the individuals. What is your family value? What is important to you? How do you want
Mhm.
to fund your child's education? Do you want the child to fund education? I've heard parents say, me, once my child turns 18, when in Canada, go and get your house. From age 16, they've
Some
already told you to start working.
some parents collect rent from their children.
And what does that do for that child? It
They
gives
collect
them
rent
a
from
good
their children.
sense of what?
And
Responsibility
I
and good money
sorry,
sense.
sorry, and I heard something that one person not I read it, not heard. I read something that one person did. They collected rent from their child when their child started working at age 16, not even 18. They started collecting that rent. But they were saving that money that they were
From
collecting
education.
for rent for the child for the next 4 years. So when the child turned 20, the money was huge. So they now handed it over to the child to buy an investment property. They set up they set the child up to own
Mm,
those into real estate investments starting from 16 by collecting rent from the child. So like I feel that these things that other cultures do,
yeah.
they are they are what set them apart and they are what put them ahead of
Mm-hmm.
us who are immigrants. Those of us who are immigrants, I don't know whether I'm deviating from the main topic, but
You are
I just
not.
wanted to say something. Those of us who are immigrants, we still hold on to certain cultures that we come with. And those cultures are not helping us. They are not helping us, especially we stay in the same cycle. We want to go to the same church. We want to do things in this. Like we don't. The deviation is not
Out
much.
of a
Whereas
division, we staying in the same thing, doing the same thing that's giving us the same result without expecting a different change.
exactly. Whereas other cultures that are ahead and keep being ahead of us, especially the Caucasians, they do things differently, right? And this is where you said that it boils down to family values, what your family value in terms of your child going to school or your child going to work. You gave the example of an immigrant whose children they started working, and because they started working, they just dropped out of school and continued working because they didn't see a value for school. Now, for an immigrant parent that values education, again,
Mm-hmm.
which boils down to family values, an immigrant parent that values education and still wants to have that element of child working because it contributes. If
Yeah.
whether we like it or not, the child working also contributes to a certain level.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not working, maybe they are volunteering. The volunteering contributes towards them, applying for certain scholarships that are volunteer based, right? So how do we combine these two? Because at the end of the day, you know your child very well, and you
Mm-hmm.
know that you know what your child has strengths in, and you know what your child has, you know your child's weakness. So how do you
Weaknesses.
combine both such that you're getting value, you're getting good value from all these little good things that you want for your child.
One of the ways that I find that you can get this combination, there's a convergence. There's always a convergence between my value system, the culture where I'm currently living, and what do I need to do. The convergence is, what do you want for your child? Have open hearted conversations with your children. Parents, at that point where your child has turned a teenager and is going to be turning 16, 17, at that age, that is not when you need to alienate yourself from them. All these plenty quarrels and fights and arguments and all of that, scale them down. Keep your eyes on the real or the main thing. Some children are very headstrong, they're obstinate, they don't listen. That is where you come in as a guardian. If your child is not listening to you, they are listening to someone else. Look for that trusted adult, not someone who is deviating them away from what they should be doing, but someone who is actually leading them towards the goal that they would listen to. If your child is not listening to you, they are listening to someone. Find out who that person is. Get someone to speak to your child and give them values that will set them up for success. Not every child necessarily will need to go to school. Some people are born entrepreneurs. Settle that in your heart. You
Mm.
more than anyone else know your child. If you don't know, begin to study your child. Some people just don't have that temerity for school. Don't force them. What do they have the temerity for? Begin to give them guidance towards that direction, but be a part of that journey. Don't let them cut you off. You heard what Wolo said about the lady that said she cut off her parents off because of whatever reasons. Something
Yeah.
must have transpired. Whether she is right or wrong, I do not know, and I don't want to judge, but something must have caused that truncation of communication. Know your child. And what I would say, Wolo, is know your child and
Mm.
prep your child up for success. The
Yeah.
part that you know will be better for your child because you have an helicopter view and not because you want them to live the life you did not live. Because some parents are wanting their children to live the life they did not live. That is not the one I'm talking about. All things
Mm.
being equal, you knowing your child and knowing what best for them, set them up for success and put those things in front of them that will make them upscale to become that person you really want them to be. That would be my suggestion or recommendation to parents who are in this quagmire at this time.
Okay, so this what you just said now brings me to the part where I have to talk about the lady that mentioned sending children to Nigeria, right? And I said that because she has not done enough what do you call it now, research to
Mhm,
know how she could send her children to school. So I'm going to talk about the options that are available, especially for immigrants that came in when their children had gotten to a level to,
mhm.
attend university, and they don't have the resources.
Resources,
Eric
yeah.
already mentioned something, and I'm going to buttress on that. So one of them is actually volunteering, right? So volunteer, if your child starts volunteering, right,
Mhm.
the level of hours put into volunteering could also help that child get scholarship,
Yeah.
and that is one option. So if you are part of the people that came in when your children had gotten to a certain level about entering university, and you're not sure if you will have the resources to send them to school, maybe send them to universities like University of British Columbia, where tuition is about $40,000 or thirty thousand
Mhm.
dollars per annum, right? Because you're calculating that money. How can I send one child to school to go and spend $30,000?
With
So
40K.
you could start with the child volunteering. If the child is volunteering hours. If the child is a sports child, enroll that child into any of the sporting activities. There are sports scholarship, right? And then if you feel that the child is not a sports child, this child cannot volunteer, then the child can start working. There are organizations where the child
Mhm.
can work in, and they will have they have, what do you call it now, some benefits tied towards education, that the child can use those benefits to
Yeah.
go to school for free,
Mhm.
right? There are some benefits tied to certain organizations like Starbucks. Starbucks is a big organization. McDonald's is a big organization. Check for the educational benefits in those places. They have benefits. Some of them have benefits of paying maybe 50% tuition or 20% tuition or 10% tuition. Check for those benefits. But your child has to be working there. How many years? I don't know, right? It's just to see how much you can get from working in those places, and then using the educational benefits to support your education. So that option is also there. And then Canada is set up in such a way that you can go to school for the number of years you want, but they have a limit depending on the school. Some school can say you must finish your graduate degree within 8 years. So it gives you that option of
And the
going to school
liberty.
part-time
Mhm.
and picking your courses part-time where you're not stressing yourself, right? So if you fall into that category where you cannot afford your child going to school and paying school fees, your child can go to school part-time, and then the child is picking the courses one by one. Let's say they pick two courses for 1 year. At least you can afford to pay two courses tuition. And it can give the child the room to complete their education
Yeah,
within
within a
a
period
period
of
of
time.
time. Instead of that strict four
Pressure.
years, 3 years graduation timeline, you spread the graduation timeline to 8 years that is more comfortable for you and the child. So these options are there. You also have grants. There are lots of government grants and
Mhm.
scholarship, I say scholarship, student loan.
Yeah.
So we have the federal government student loan for for specific courses. If you are the type of parent that you want your child to do professional courses like medicine,
Nothing, nothing,
nursing,
all those ones.
practical
Yeah.
nursing, even recently they added PSW, education, social work. Those courses are eligible for student loan, right? Some people don't understand what student loan is, and where we are coming from, we pay everything cash. So when you come here and you hear,
Okay.
you try to run away because you're thinking you're in debt, but
Ah,
that is
it may say.
a lot of people think, oh, loan, mortgage is debt, because we are bastardizing these things and thinking they are traps, they are financial traps. Some of them are financial traps if they are not done properly, while some are not financial traps. So the student loan is not a financial trap. You have about 15. I'll put the list of what do you call it, professions that are eligible for this
No.
federal government student loan, where you take the student loan to study these courses, and at the end of the day, they will forgive the loan. That's it's forgivable student loan. The only thing you will do you'll be asking, okay, so if it's a forgivable student loan, what do I do? How am I going to repay the government back? The government will say you can work in a remote area. So if you finish school, you take the student loan, which is an option, take the student loan from the government. Some of these loans
Yeah.
also come with grants that you don't pay back to the government. So let's
Mhm.
say the government, federal government wants to give you a $20,000 student loan. There's a $20,000 portion that is grants, which you're not paying back to the government. That is $40,000 per annum. For this 20,000 student loan, if you study a program, a professional program, let's say like medicine, like nursing, like practical nursing, social work, teaching, early childhood education, personal support work, any of these programs, the only thing you do is work in a remote area for 1 year. Let's say you work in a remote area for 1 year. For some of the occupations, I think 10 months. I think early childhood education, they put 10 months there. You work in those places, remote areas, for 10 months or for 1 year, and then the government forgives the 20,000 loan
Yes, that
that
you
they gave
took.
to you, which means you went to school for free. You collected government money, you went to school, you just worked in one location for 10 months, and then
A
you're not paying
remote
government back.
location.
And funny enough, the student loan, it does not come with any interest. There's no interest tied to it. So if the government gives you $20,000, they're not saying you
You're
should pay,
paying
pay
back
the $20,000
20,000.
and interest on top. And if it's in a profession that is recognized, of course, immigrants, we want our children to be in one of the best professions, nursing,
Mhm.
medicine, and all of that. And that means you're taking this loan and going to school for free, and you're not paying the government back. Just serve the government for 1 year, and you are free to do whatever you
That's
like.
like your
So these
NYC.
options, yeah. So these options are available for immigrant families. And if you're setting goals for yourself, start looking at these options. A lot of the time, those of us who are immigrants, we look at we do things
Mhm.
based on our own self, not based on the children are
It's
just
not.
additions. We are
Yes.
trying to
Mhm.
we are trying to do, while some immigrant parents, yes, they focus on the children, but 80% of immigrants
Mhm.
actually are focused on themselves and trying to get their careers back, try to get their work life back, and all of
Just
that.
even get
So
their
yeah.
footing in the land where they are. I think that is what the
Mm,
most overwhelming with parents, because parents, truthfully, well, as we begin to bring this to a conclusion, parents are amazing. But the overwhelming part is a new territory. You're trying to
mm,
even discover yourself. You're even trying to get to know where your environment. You're even having issues with the culture shock. Like me, for instance, I came, I didn't know you could go on leave. Go on leave, care. Where? You can't. And someone is telling you
I'm
you're
number
not
one
feeling
champion
well.
for finishing all my leave.
Sometimes you're not feeling well. So even go and tell your boss you're not feeling well is a challenge. But here it is normal. It's a flu season. Are you kidding
Mm,
me? So they're
yeah.
trying to get, that culture where we were coming from somewhere where we're used to walk, 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 no rest.
Mhm.
And you come to an environment where you can actually relax. And we can't even take that time to relax. What I want to
Yeah.
say to parents today is relax.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will be fine. The bills will be paid.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get so swamped with all of these thoughts and so overwhelmed, we forget the reason why we're actually working. Most
Yeah.
people say I'm working for my child. I relocated because of my child. But for those some that same children you are neglecting because of all these other issues that are coming.
Mm.
You are looking for community, you are looking for a way out for yourself. The culture shock is there, your child is not behaving well. Focus on your child. They will be all right.
Yeah.
Our children are amazing children. Our children are beautiful children. We just need to understand them on a one-on-one basis. And you know what? Give your time to these children. Yes, some of them will deviate, but also do well on your part and give yourself, sometimes give yourself a pat on the back to say, I have done well too. Then we're all work in progress. Work on the areas that you feel you're not doing well, but strengthen your strength and the weakness will disappear. Back to you, Wolo.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Please, if you have any questions, this is question time. I'm not seeing your questions in the comment section. Oh, please put your questions. So if you have questions, just to give a summary of what we've discussed today, Erika talked about setting behavioral goals for your children at
Hmm.
certain age range. By 0 to 5, you should have set a certain goal, behavioral goal. By 5 to 12, or by 6 to 12, and then from 12 to 18, you should have set certain behavioral goals. That way, the patterns are cast, well, not necessarily cast on stone, but the
Mhm.
patterns are already there, because it is not at 16 you start teaching your child how to wash plate. It doesn't make sense when you're teaching your child to wash plate at age 16, right? So
Yeah.
once these goals are set based on your family values, then you start progressing. And those who are coming into Canada within that range where their children are impressionable, know your child very well. I would say this: know your child very well. If you know that your child will be the type of child that will put you in trouble,
Leave
will
up there.
you will you leave your child back in Nigeria, or you bring your child? Please answer that question for yourself. Go and think deep. If you know
Yeah.
that your child will be the child that will put you in trouble when you come, and when I mean trouble, serious trouble, because there are children that have put their parents in trouble when they came. So you have to have that conversation with yourself. I know it's not easy leaving your child and relocating, but then you have to have that conversation,
Mhm.
right? So the behavioral goals must be set, the financial goals must be set, and everything boils down to the values. And then we also talked about how parents can source for funds or get funds to be able to send their children to post-secondary education. We have scholarships, we have grants, we have student loans. The child can also work, the child can volunteer. When I mean working, the child can work and spread their option, like spread their courses for, let's say, 8 years. They don't need to finish their bachelor's degree within 4 years. They can spread it within 8 years and have enough time to be working and schooling at the same time. So everything just boils down to your values for your child. Because I mean, we all came here with a purpose, and we don't want our children to, get lost in the process. There are people that their children have gotten lost in the process. And I want to say something. In 2017, when I came, I was doing a lot of experiments when I came. And one of the experiments I did was to go to a Canadian prison. I'm not going to talk about that. I'm not going to talk about what I saw in the Canadian prison, but maybe I'll do a video to talk about it in the future. But I went to a Canadian prison, and I was thinking I won't see Black people there. And this prison was somewhere in Manitoba, like somewhere in Manitoba. And when I entered that prison and I saw some Black people, my heart dropped. Like, I felt sad. I wasn't expecting to see such people, but I saw them there, right? So, I mean, the whole essence of this conversation is having goals and having, nobody is perfect, right? Nobody has gone to a parent. No, nobody has been a parent before. It's along the way you learn certain things. So we've been able to cover this, so such that we are trying to position our children for success, right? Position your children to be the next Elon Musk, right? How did Elon Musk? Elon Musk was also, will I say, an immigrant? Well, luckily, he was not really an immigrant. He was more like the child of a citizen, right? His mother was a Canadian citizen, but he was born in South Africa to a South African father. And then they left South Africa for Canada. Elon Musk attended University of, is it St. Mary's University or something like that in Ontario, or University of Waterloo? I don't know which one. And then from there moved to the United States, right? So if we want our children to be the next big thing, everything has to be done from when they are within that bracket of setting behavioral goals, behavioral patterns, and all of that for them, so that they can thrive in this society. And I pray that none of our children will fall by the roadside. None of our
Yes,
children will come
yes.
back and say, I'm cutting off, no contact, because we
Mhm.
are trying to set them up. None of our children will come back and say no contact to our parents and all of that. I pray that we will set good goals for our children this year as parents. And like Eruke rounded up, she said we should give ourselves grace. Yes, everything can be overwhelming sometimes, but we can give ourselves grace. So, Eruke, do you have any final words, any final thoughts as we wrap up today's conversation?
My conversation to the parents will be, first of all, calm down.
Mm,
Take a deep breath. You'll be
mm,
fine, and the children will be fine. But you need to clear your head for you to get to that point where you're actually seeing what is before you. Sometimes, because of the nature of what we do, we don't see what is right before us. And lastly, enjoy your children where they are. If you have a 4-year old like Wolo, don't wish that your child was older.
mm.
Enjoy the moment where you are with your child right now. Just take it for today. Do the best you can every single day and enjoy your child along the way. If your child is 16 and they are even having conversations and arguing with you, be happy they can even argue with you. It means that they have some elements of, sentiments that they want to share. They have emotions too. Don't
Mm.
be too overwhelmed. Sometimes just take a walk back and taking all these things. The next episode we'll be having, we're talking about how to actually take care of our emotions and take care of our well-being as parents, so we can parent the little ones that God has given to us. Thank you so much, Wolo, for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Eruke, for this first YouTube live of 2026. I truly appreciate you coming on this YouTube live. Honestly, if not for you, I don't know whether I would have done a YouTube live. There are too many things on my plate, but I really appreciate your coming. I really appreciate your insights. You gave me one idea that I'm going to implement today. I'm going to implement it today, and I'm really grateful for that. Thank you so much. I want to also thank everybody that joined us for this live session, for taking time out, 1 hour of your time to join us for this live session. I really appreciate all of you. And I know that I'm owing a lot of things. I know that I'm owing a lot of
I'll
things.
hold you accountable
And
to this.
and I'm trying to speedily execute those things so that they can get out of my plate. I owe my community members, my YouTube community members, a lot of resources that I said I was going to share last year. In fact, coming from 2023, let me not say last year, from 2024 rather. From 2024 when I did live, then 2025, and then we have started 2026. Those resources, I've started them, but I've not completed them. So I'm trying to complete them so I can push them out. And I'm going to be coming on YouTube live or videos. I'll just do videos and upload, and I'm hoping that I am consistent this year. Nothing will take my consistency this year. Amen.
I will
Amen.
hold you
Fingers crossed.
responsible. Don't worry. I'll hold you accountable
Fingers
for that.
crossed. Amen. Amen. Weekly videos will start going up on this channel. Weekly videos by God's grace, starting from this week. Amen. Fingers crossed. Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. For those joining me from Nigeria, I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for staying up till this time. Thank you so much. And hope to see you in my next live. I'll do a video midweek and then a live session either Saturdays or Sundays. I think I prefer Sundays. I'll do a live session on Sundays. Hey, Erika has disappeared. All right. Thank you so much and have a beautiful day. Thank you. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you.